to have an emergency meeting. I don't think there's been one in the 5+ years that I've been sitting here. So that is how. So if you can't have a regular meeting, and the reasons for the meeting don't rise to what the statute requires for an emergency, the other option is a special meeting with regard to notice. Mr. Inglesino, would you like to make a comment with regards to 48-hour notice?
The only comment that I would make is that the statute was followed. Of course, you know, that matter is now the subject of litigation, and the town has special counsel for that. So I don't think it's appropriate to comment on matters that are in litigation.
Okay. With regard to the statement that was read by the previous mayor, which quoted saying that the Sergeant-at-Arms designation did not previously exist and does not exist anywhere else. Simple Google search of other towns will yield other towns that have the same ordinance in their code, including our neighbors, Denville, which immediately comes to my mind. So you'll find the Sergeant-at-Arms designation there. In our township code, that has existed since 1971. It has always been there. With regard to the comment that our administrative code, and you can check that, the township code is online, Chapter 2, Administrative Code, search for decorum, you'll find reference below that in 1971. With regard to our administrative code and other code being outdated, I 100% agree. It's one of the things that I hope that our new mayor and a future mayor will also address. We have significant code issues. Many of the issues that we tried to address earlier this year, or points of contention, had to do with the code not adhering to state statute, being contrary to state statute. Those are easy opportunities to correct some things so that some of the differences and disagreements that have taken place previously don't ever have to take place again. And I hope that this mayor and a future mayor will take those up as challenges, both on the administrative side as well as on the land use side. Those of you who are here for a presentation by a landowner or a prospective landowner with regard to a vision that they had for a property was prefaced, and that conversation was prefaced, and the discussion that took place was that while that project may or may not be the right project for this town, that's a decision for perhaps the planning board or zoning board to decide at a later date, this township can't even entertain that project because the land use code doesn't allow it. And there's a significant effort that has to happen between the township administration as well as the council to clean up this very outdated code. 1971. It's older than I am. It's older than Councilman Sackett as well. That code needs to be revisited because the laws have changed. The state statutes have changed, and we have provisions in our code that that aren't in compliance with state statutes, and that creates opportunities for issues to arise. And again, I hope that this mayor and a future one will also work with us to address those. I'm not aware of any fire marshal complaint that was filed. I would ask the current mayor if he would please investigate the nature of that. My understanding is that the fire marshal is not here today because he is on a vacation trip elsewhere.
Excuse me, Council President.
Mr. Mayor.
The person that raised that question, if you'd see me at the end of the meeting, I'd like a little bit more information. Who was it? Okay, thank you. I'll get in touch with him.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Kelly, did you have some comments you wanted to make?
I didn't. I just wanted to address Mr.
Can you
Schmidt.
just pull the microphone to you?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to address Mr. Schmidt. I did receive your email in the early morning, not as when you had sent it out. Not when you had sent it out. I think we have some common interest in certain things with NJ Fogg and OPMA and Oprah as well. But because of those concerns of the possibility of threatening litigation, pending litigation, it's very difficult to have a conversation not knowing what's going on at that moment. So that is why that I didn't reach out back to you regarding that. So I apologize for that, but I hope you understand. I mean, you do work in a law firm as well as Mr. Long, and you're down in Gloucester County there. So I knew what the question was and related to, and I hope you can respect why there wasn't an answer to you because of the pending or possible litigation that was going on due to the threats. You wouldn't know that because you didn't attend the meeting of that evening, but those were threats that were made at that particular time, and I did take those threats seriously that it was going to occur. So that is a reason for that. I hope you understand that. Of litigation.
Yes, we've had multiple threats of litigation over the past 2 weeks and beyond. Just to clarify the number that I was trying to total earlier in my head, the total amount spent by the township on legal services this year is $755,000. Just so everybody has the correct number, you can verify that by requesting that information from the CFO in the administrator's office. I will now make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second? Second by Abrahamson. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Friedlander?
Yes.
Councilmember Puzio?
Yes.
Councilmember Palumbo?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith? Councilmember Kelly?
Yes.
Vice President Abraham?